This is a series where I detail how I met my soulmate and what signs to look for when you're also on the hunt for your soulmate. This is part 2. If you want to know the background, definitely go back and watch part 1, which I tagged down below. So I'm on a date with, we'll call Big Hands Man, and he was a musician. I met him on a dating app, and through the date, my nervous system was just like super activated. I was feeling really nervous, but I was also really excited to be with him. Like, my body wanted him. I wanted him in like a sexual way. And that's a sign, I think, when you're a woman, like when you really want somebody to the point where like you're feeling the butterflies and the chemistry, and it's like this completely like unhinged, chaotic desire. That's also a sign to you in many cases that this is unhealthy, that this person is activating something within you that is very unhealed. I don't quite know yet how to conceptualize or how to articulate what that is, but I do know the warning signs in my body, and I was definitely having it with him. So I was very honest on the date, way more honest than I normally was on first dates. I always advise women, when you're on first dates, do not talk about yourself. Let the man talk. You will find out so much about him, and you can see all the red flags. And as I detailed in part 1 of this series, there were a lot of red flags about this man just from hearing him speak. But first and foremost, it was how my body felt. I trust my body and my intuition, number one. He doesn't even need to say a thing that proves anything. If my body tells me that it's gonna be unsafe and that he's gonna be toxic, like, out. I was with a narcissist for 12 months, and I know how my body feels when I'm around a toxic man, and that is how I felt with him. However, I will say there was all this sexual excitement and energy, right? So halfway through the date, I was like, I can talk more about myself because I know that this is not my soulmate, and this is not a man that I can see myself dating in the long term. And this is not a man that I can see myself trusting. So I could like have fun with him because he's just a guy to have fun with. So who cares if I tell him about myself? Like, I'm a garrulous, talkative person. I like to communicate. I like to talk about my life. I like to have connection with people. And so even though I didn't feel safe, like having him as a romantic partner, I was like, halfway through the date, I kind of made like a concession with myself. And I was like, well, I'm going to talk more about myself because I don't have to keep so much, close to the vest, because I'm not looking at him as like a partner, and maybe I could actually have fun with him. So my wheels started turning, and I was like, well, I definitely want to kiss him at the end of the night because I'm way attracted to him. So the night is like coming to a close. It's like 9:30, and I was at this time in my life like coming home and going to bed early. Like, I wasn't drinking a lot, and I was coming to bed early because I was really guarding my safety. I was guarding my healing. And if you go back and watch any of my videos from over the summer when I was going through this period of healing from a narcissistic relationship, I do talk a lot about like safely guarding your healing and like going to bed early and not doing things that stress you out. And at the time, staying out late and drinking would have stressed me out and triggered me. So by 9:30, I was ready to go home. He walks me out to my car, and like he leans over to kiss me, and like I called it. Like, the kiss was so like fireworks, and I was so into him and attracted to him. And so we start kissing more heavily. And then he's like, he's like, can I come over to your house tonight? And for a split second, I was like, well, maybe I should just have him come over because, again, mama has needs, and I'm a single woman out here. I've been celibate mainly for the last 8 months going through this breakup. Like, maybe it would be fine to have him come over for a night, And so my mind started spinning, and I was like, And I was like, no, you just need to leave. Like, I need to think about this. So I kicked him to his car, and I drove home. And the whole time I was driving home, I was talking to one of my girlfriends on the phone, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'd been celibate for 8 months. So like, to have a really hot guy that like I had attraction with, like, turn me on to that level, it was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't know how to handle it because I had been so locked down for 8 months trying to heal. And so I was like, and the whole time he's texting me, like, I want to see you. I have to see you. Please let me see you again. So I'm like entertaining it. My body's on fire. I get home that night. He's texting me all night, sending me cute pictures. Like, I have to see you. I want to see you. I can come see you tomorrow night. And I didn't have any plans the following night. It was a Friday night. I had no plans. I was just going to stay home, just tend to myself, do the things I love, which are create TikToks, read, make good food, spend time with myself. I had done this for 8 months in my healing journey. So I really, really value, and still do to this day, my alone time, spending time with myself, treating and loving on myself. And so I was like going to do that the Friday night. And then the following night, Saturday night, I had a date with the third contender that was in my roster, I guess you could call it. And I will call him Soulmate because he turned out to be my soulmate. But I had a date with him Saturday night, and I had never met him before, but I was really looking forward to the date. And so in my mind, I was like, well, I could have Big Hands Man come over on Friday night, and I could have him like just spend a couple hours with me. We could have fun, and then I could go out on the date Saturday night with Soulmate. But as Friday started to proceed, he was sending me texts. Big Hands Man was sending me texts the whole day. Like, I really want to come see you. I will do anything to come and see you. And I was definitely entertaining it. But by 3 o'clock, something in me was just like, no, you are not having this man over. Because if you have this man over, you will become physically intimate with him, which will attach you to him, which then you will absorb all of his energy, which is toxic. You already know he's a toxic, unsafe man. You've done this before. The last 12 months you were with a narcissist. Like, I'm literally, my higher self is talking to myself, which I really advise women to do. Like, let your higher angels, your healthier versions of yourself, talk to these other versions of yourself that want to do out-of-pocket stuff that's just going to mess your life up. And so this higher version was like, you were with a narcissist for 12 months. You know how this cookie crumbles. This is a tale as old as time. How many times are you going to let a musician with big hands and tattoos and dark hair come into your life, and you have a great time with him in the beginning, and then you get attached, he treats you like garbage and has a double life? Like, we're not doing that again. So off the cuff at like 3 o'clock, I send a text to Big Hands Man, and I'm like, you can't come over. And also, we're looking for different things. So I wish you the best, but I have really no interest in proceeding. And I blocked and deleted him, which is another thing I recommend for women dating. When you know that a man is not your person, you know he's not going to treat you well, he's treated you poorly, you realize that he needs to fall off the rotation, you block and delete. You do not have time in your life to entertain men like this, and trust me, another one will come in to fill his spot. Okay, you don't have to wait long, it will happen. So you have to clear out the old, let the trash take itself out, so that you can call in what you ultimately want, which, as I detailed in the first part of my video, I had spent the last 3 to 4 months really getting clear on the type of man that I wanted, the type of relationship that I wanted. I wanted a healed, actualized, emotionally mature man, and I wanted divine union. I wanted both of us working side by side, making each other be, like, inspiring each other to be our best selves, and having this amazing, comfortable, safe love. So I knew that's what I wanted, even though I had never had it before. And Big Hands Man, who was totally totally activating my nervous system and causing all types of shenanigans, in my, like, chemistry of my body. He is not my soulmate. Like, that's not my husband. Your husband's not going to make you feel that way, okay? Your husband's going to make you feel safe, calm, at peace, restful, and I could conceptualize that. I had never had it, but I knew that that was the direction I was going. So I rid him, and then now I was off Bumble, because at this point, once I had nailed down dates with Big Hands Man and Soulmate, I was like, I'm done with Bumble. I had already gotten off all the apps. My sister convinced me to go on Bumble. It had been a wild ride for 3 weeks of just like nonstop attention, nonstop trying to juggle like all these interests and dates, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, this is too chaotic. So I'm going to go on these 2 dates, and then I'm going to get off dating apps. So I had my date with Soulmate lined up for the next night, and I was really excited for it. Follow along for part 3.